Trading is closed on the 22nd of November, 2023. We'll always start with our disclaimer, go over our calls, make some predictions. It's my trading plan for Friday, which is November 24th, 2023. Just remember, I can be dead wrong and trade at your own risk. We had a number of patterns on first I should say we call for the pattern with the early high and the late low, and we got that. And that Friday we'll have the pattern with the early low. We had a number of reasons to think today would be down. We had the bar completely within the range of the strong advance the prior day, and we had a lower target which didn't have to, but nearly always will. One of my rules is that gapping sharply in the undesired direction kills the call. We gapped up before the open, so that call's killed before the open. The gap was over this high, so Larry Williams' pattern was killed before the open because this open can substitute for this close. And when you gap up, my lower target's off the table before we open, and no one has to lose any money. This is just a reminder of what we said. I still think this number doesn't usually hold. During the day, MEJT said this was a false move, wouldn't stick, and it didn't. This dashed line gives us an optional target that we trade under the low of this bar. We came within a few pennies. It's within the tolerance, so technically that was satisfied since you're within the tolerance. But almost always, not always, you're going to trade under the low of this bar anyway. So again, we have another lower target, which doesn't have to print according to my rules. Doesn't break the rules if it doesn't, but almost always it will anyway. And that goes along with the one from yesterday, which doesn't have to print by my rules, but nearly always does. We've been following this Gann fan line 1 by 3. We came within a few points and we stopped right at the line. That's still resistance. If you're going to break through, it'd be ideal if we gapped over it. If we don't gap over it, today's high is resistance. This is my inverted diamond on stilts pattern, with the high of this move being a Fibonacci target of the prior consolidation. Here's your left stilt, here's the right stilt. There's resistance at and just over the origin of the left stilt. So this is resistance in addition to the Gann fan line. Here's the dotted line showing where we closed. Each rally attempt stopped at a lower price. When we finally closed, we were under all these highs and even under this high. So if we stay there, if we don't gap up, that's a rejection of this move to a new high. But until we undercut these lows, it's not a guarantee. I mean, you could gap up here tomorrow and the idea is killed. But right now, it's a rejection of the move to a new high, which even though time hasn't run out. Time runs out actually Friday morning, although sometimes on Fridays nothing happens and you have to wait until Monday when there's only trading for half a day. I tend to cut it a little bit of slack and give it an extra day. Well, tomorrow's pattern has a really low regardless of where we open. Because it's a half session, it's possible nothing happens, and that will need to wait for Monday to see a move of significance. There's resistance at the high of the day from the Gann fan line and the inverted diamond on stilts pattern. Their optional targets from yesterday, 45.32.89, and today, 45.45.67, which don't have to print by my rules, but nearly always do. The volatility index is at a very low level, showing traders are not willing to pay much for puts, and the option traders are usually wrong. The Doesn't mean we have to drop tomorrow, though. The clearest path for bulls to continue the rally would be to gap up either Friday or Monday. If they can't do that, the elements are there for a short-term drop, even though I don't have a specific signal requiring it. Regardless of what happens short-term, I still think we're going much higher in the long term. And when you're in a rally like this, the surprises all tend to happen on the upside. So we certainly could gap up and kill this whole idea. But right now we're stalling at resistance, and resistance fails or it holds, and we might have to wait until Monday to find out. If resistance fails, I think we'll gap up Friday or Monday. But if it holds, there could be a short-term pullback here. It's not the kind of thing I'd risk money on overnight, but just be aware that we're stalling at resistance even though time hasn't run out. It's a pattern with the early low. Have a good Thanksgiving, and that's today's call.